With the Pendant of Courage in hand, we return to Sahasrahla, who tells us that he will tell us more about the legend. 3 or 4 generations ago, an order of knights protected the royalty of Hyrule. Wow, knights protecting a royal family. What a novel idea for a medieval society. These knights were also guardians of the Pendant of Courage. Only specifically the Pendant of Courage? Suppose power and wisdom were just too much of a handle. Now look, we can look after 1 necklace, but 3? You couldn't pay me enough to look after 3 necklaces. These knights must have taken their jobs really seriously or not seriously at all. I don't know which, but there's definitely no in between. Anyways, unfortunately most of the knights were destroyed in a great war against evil that took place when the 7 wise men created their seal. Oof, I guess they took their job super seriously. Among the descendants of the Knights of Hyrule, a hero must appear. You sure about that? I feel like the title Fallen Hero Timeline doesn't bode well for us. I see. Link, I believe you. Believe what? I haven't said anything. You should get the remaining pendants. Why are you putting words into my mouth? And carry this with you. This is a treasure passed down by the families of the wise men. I want you to have it. He then hands us the Pegasus shoes. The families of the wise men handed down shoes. Do you understand why that's so ridiculous? I really don't like spoiling future titles, but in a later entry it's revealed that the sages, or the wise men if you prefer, were made up of all the various races of Hyrule. There's something about this being the gift handed down by fish people and rockmen that is extraordinarily funny to me. Anyways, he then tells us that there is a helpful item hidden in the cave on the east side of Lake Hylia. Well, we might as well go take a look-see and see what kind of item this is. Lake Hylia might look close to us, but Mode 7 can be deceiving. For whatever reason, we actually can't get to the east side of Lake Hylia from where we're at, and we'll have to take the long way around instead. Thankfully, the Pegasus boots give us the ability to dash and ram into things, where apparently we smash into things with such force that it can even shatter piles of rocks. Link, what have you been eating? Sometimes destroying these piles will create staircases, where if you go down them, you can find goodies inside. Like this one near the sanctuary, which gets you a piece of heart. Anyways, as we head over to check out the eastern side of Lake Hylia, oh look, some random building. We should definitely check what's inside. Turns out there's just some water in here. Wonder what happens when we pull this switch. Oh neat, it drained all the water from the swamp above. I was led to believe that this was a far more difficult task. Anyways, we can pick up a piece of heart, and you know, I kind of feel bad for these fish. I'm gonna bring it back to the river. Be free, little fish. The fish jumps out of the water and thanks us by giving us some rupees. Well, thanks, little guy. I mean, the reward was just helping out a defenseless— oh, wait a minute, he threw them into a location. I can't reach them. You slimy, scaled scum. I'm gonna jump in there and give you a piece of my mind. Ah, yes, you exploited the fact that I can't swim. Touché, fishy fish. Stupid fish. I should have sold you to the bottle merchant instead. Anyways, what was I doing? Right, looking for secrets on the east side of Lake Hylia. Boy, you can get so distracted in a game like this. Walking around the edge of the lake, we'll eventually come to a cave. Blow up the hidden entrance over here, and you can find the Ice Rod. The Ice Rod can freeze enemies at the cost of having to use a bit of evil magic. Which I just realized is the first time that I've mentioned that we can indeed use magic. Not sure why this Link is inherently magical, but you kinda learn to roll with the inconsistent abilities of the hero throughout the series. Anyways, despite how out of the way it is to get the Ice Rod, it is absolutely required to beat the game. But you are not going to believe it when it is required. I'll point it out when we get there. Anyways, we should probably start looking for those other pendants. Thankfully, our map gives us their location, and we can see that one is located in the Desert of Mystery. So let's head in that direction. I vaguely remember the thief in the Lost Woods mentioning that there was a member of theirs at the entrance of the desert, but I can't find anything besides this suspicious middle-aged man sitting next to this sign. He's not telling us anything. I wonder what the sign says. Pay no attention to the average middle-aged man standing by this sign. Oh, he's just some normal dude. Well, that answers all my questions. Bye, dude. I bet we'll never have to talk to you again. Anyways, as we explore the desert, we will eventually find this odd stage area with a monolith standing in the middle of it. Reading the monolith makes it clear that we don't know how to read this monolith. Guess we'll have to come back to it later and continue to explore the desert. Eventually, we'll find a cave which holds this old man who looks like Sahasrahla, but is a completely different old man. I mean, can't you tell the difference between these two? He introduces himself as Agana, and he senses something is happening in the Golden Land. Buddy, if you only knew. This must be an omen of the great cataclysm foretold by the people of Hylian blood. Whoa, please tell me that you were going to explain that great cataclysm prophecy and not leave us hanging. The prophecy says, oh, thank goodness, you have no idea how many people hold out on something like that. Anyways, the prophecy says the hero will stand in the desert holding the Book of Medora. That seems like a very on-the-nose prophecy. If you have the Book of Medora, you can read the language of the Hylia people. Aren't we all Hylia people? I mean, long ears. Maybe that hasn't been established yet. It should be in the house of books in the village. Dude, that's called a library. You must get it if you are the person who will be the hero. Whoa, dude, I don't know if you know what that title means in this universe. That's a lot to throw at someone, especially considering the fact the last one failed miserably, chronologically speaking. Spoilers. Kind of. It's far more complicated than I can get into at the moment. Also, isn't this a sign of the omen of the Great Cataclysm? You weren't necessarily clear on that. Anyways, it looks like we have to go back to Kakariko, but before we do that, we should bomb this wall and collect this piece of heart. Ah yes, stealing from the elderly, my favorite pastime. As we head back to Kakariko, ooh, look, a little grotto area. We should check it out. Inside the grotto, we find a kid playing on a flute, which seems to have attracted quite a few animals. Hey, I think this is the kid that guy in the bar mentioned. Approaching him to confirm this information causes him to disappear into thin air. Huh. Wonder where he went. Oh, right. We're supposed to be looking for a library. So heading back into the library, we notice a book on top of one of the shelves. Ramming the shelf with the Pegasus boots will cause the book to drop, and we have found the Book of Medora. Well, that was super necessary. Guess we'll begin the long journey back to the Desert of Mystery. Eventually we'll find ourselves in front of the stone block again, and it tells us to open the way to go forward, make your wish here, and it will be granted. I wish for cheeseburgers. Somehow, my wish results in the stone statues moving out of my way. Man, looks like I'll have to get my beef fixed some other way. Anyways, let's head into the Desert Palace. The Desert Palace is truly open. You can practically go into any room at the start. It can be a bit overwhelming the first time you go through it, despite the fact that someone in the comments is scoffing at that idea after they've played through the game 1,000 times. Be on the lookout for Beamos. Their laser eyes can snipe you from across the room. Neatly enough, you can just leave the dungeon during the middle of it. Unfortunately, some small rocks get in our way, so we can't go any further. But we are able to find a piece of heart up here, which gives us another 4 in total, adding another heart to our life. I don't know if it's healthier or not to have this many hearts. Exploring further in the palace itself, we find another panel that the Elder can speak to us through. And he tells us that we must never fail to find all the treasures in each dungeon. Oh gee, thanks man, never would have come to that conclusion on my own. Hey look, a key! Using that key, we're able to find the big key by dodging balls. Why is this a trend in this game? Where after you pick up every jar in this room, we can find a button. It's always the last one you check, every time. And this leads us to the big chest, which holds the power glove. Now we're playing with power. And we can use that power to lift stones, which means we can get to the upper levels of this dungeon. Eventually, after dealing with an insane amount of floating tiles attempting to murder us and using torches to bend the fabric of reality, we find the boss chamber. Inside of which we can find the boss of the dungeon, which is Lanmola. What was a small-time enemy from the first game has been upgraded to the big show as giant flying worms. They'll pop out of the ground, fling rocks at you, and menacingly float around. All you gotta do is either hit them in the head with your sword or arrows. Or if you really want to embarrass these snakes, just use the ice rod. Not that it's required, but it absolutely murders them. Eventually you'll destroy all the Lanmola and they'll drop a heart container, and then a pendant drops from the ceiling. We go pick up the pendant and it is the Pendant of Power. That's not the color of power!